So you say that YouTube is all running through this?
Mm-hmm.
So the camera is not even being used, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess that is true. because
We
it's here.
will admit the people in the waiting room. While you're doing that, I'm gonna go in here.
And will you be able to do that Wednesday?
Well, we need to.
Because we're gonna stream it. I think that's what Joel had said in his email.
The public portion, yeah.
Right, not the executive,
Right.
yes.
And we're gonna be here,
Perfect, okay, that's what I was asking.
yeah, we'll be here like at 8 o'clock Monday.
3 people, waiting room, I'm hitting waiting room and nothing's happening. He said, hit that, I
Yeah.
hit that, and then this came up. No, 4 people are waiting.
See waiting room, click on that. There you go. Hit their name, just like hit admit, the blue button.
Is it right click?
No,
Is it-
left. There you go. There you go. There you go.
You didn't join. Now you're talking, Koger. Can you hear me, Aaron?
Loud and clear.
How about you, Marcus? Can you hear me, Mark?
Yep, I can hear you.
Got the boss with you tonight, huh?
No, that's just my screenshot. I need to get rid of that.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry.
I need to have the boss with me though.
Yeah. I'm struggling with it myself. I didn't exactly.
I do not like it.
Hey, see?
There we go.
There you are.
I don't know. Put the picture back up there. I liked it better.
Yeah, no joke.
I was gonna say you better not be sitting in my seat, Kendra.
Don't worry, I'm not.
Sit in the ex-president seat.
Ex-president.
Ex-president.
I think we're good.
The house.
Okay. If I need anything, you.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And are those instructions still sitting over there?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have to turn the camera off or will it,
No.
YouTube automatically go off?
Ending is ending it all.
Okay, so the picture actually is off of YouTube tonight. Is that correct?
Says something's connecting. I've lost my picture.
You're froze here. Last week, the picture was through the computer. This week, the picture's through YouTube. So
I've lost connection somehow. You still see everybody on your end?
yeah. Just hit you again for you to join again. Did you try to turn your sound off or something? Do you have this down pat, Aaron?
Yeah. I've kind of become the contact for our agency. And right now I'm looking at how to collaborate with a couple different carriers,
Have it turn back up.
share a screen of a PowerPoint
Are you right
presentation
there?
and record that so that, employees can see it. So
Yeah, where you see that?
luckily it's pretty easy. And I think it's
This is
pretty
October.
easy to manipulate.
Well, I guess I haven't exactly caught on yet.
Hold on. Scroll.
Well, but you're not using it every day like I am. I'm on like 3 of these a day. It's crazy. If I wasn't an extrovert, I would probably say I don't need to meet with people ever again. You're not using it every day like I am. I'm on like 3 of these a day. Crazy. Yeah, I see Corey's joining, and that reminds me because I was talking with him earlier. If anybody else has MetroNet, we've been hitting. It's been spotty all day. There he is. So if it continues to be spotty, MetroNet users will probably go down.
And we've got somebody else. I don't know who that is.
Hit message. You hit that.
Oh, you want to admit them?
How are you, Corey?
No.
Better than I deserve.
Is Nicole right there?
No, I'm at the office, sir.
Hey, all right. Obviously.
Uh,
Just looked at behind you.
yeah, the world's largest and finest field house.
Still haven't figured out that background thing. I even Googled it and can't figure it out.
Hey, that little kid that's in your profile picture, just ask him. He'll get you set up.
Hopefully in about 2 years he will.
I bet he could do it now. It's crazy.
So if you open it up.
Mr. Guffey, are you on with us yet?
I think, I'm not sure.
Okay, we can hear you. I can't see you yet.
Yes,
Are you on?
Hear me?
Yes, I'm on.
I'm here now.
Brenda?
Brenda, we can hear you, but we can't see
Town
you.
place. Yeah.
I don't know why I heard the camera on.
See.
Hey, I think
There you are.
tonight what we should probably do is, and it gets a little tricky, and so maybe we wait until attendance and roll call and all that stuff, but probably should keep our mics muted just to improve the audio until you speak. I think I've read where if you hold down the space bar, it'll unmute you, but yeah.
Can you try yours?
You can put it back in here.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and mute one.
Put it back in.
Well, I guess I better silence my phone, huh?
We just Bluetooth.
Yeah, but you gotta pair it. Oh, it's off. Yeah, turn it on.
Turn it on.
I can hear you, Rex. I just can't see you.
It should just pop up.
Might be Lynn.
It's me. Can you
Yep.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm working on it.
You say.
Lynn, some might say that you look better right now, but it wouldn't be me.
Say Bluetooth.
I hear you. I got my IT guy here helping to get my
Your
AirPod.
Sounds Pro.
AirPros going.
Sean, are you on with us this evening?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Mayor, for the invite. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay, so say done. Okay, now.
Sean, I tried to call you the other day and I couldn't find your cell phone number. Have you guys, are you going to talk about the Memorial Day Parade this evening, or I don't want to premature ask anything, but just, do you have something to say about that?
The only thing I would have to say, Mayor, is that, we're in a holding pattern. We're planning it, but we're definitely in talks with you, and we'll be circling those wagons back in the first week of May, just like you guys talked about.
Okay, all right.
Is that fair?
Yeah, that's more than fair.
All right.
Space bar, hit unmute.
And Mayor, I'll send you my cell phone number. I can email it to you if you want.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
Jerry, I just admitted you in. Are you with us? I see you, Lynn.
Aaron, you look just like me. I just got out of the barber chair.
Did you guys see me?
Yes.
I think that XT1045 might be Jeff.
Might be who?
Jeff.
I just tried to admit him. Rex, we don't have Rex yet.
Look at Corey going all out with the backdrop. You and Aaron, you guys are just so fancy.
I don't know. I kind of like your propeller hat.
Do you like it? Work at Weenie World now. We reposition it. Aaron, is there a way to control the volume through the system itself?
Like for what you're hearing?
It's really loud in these earbuds.
It's
I have it
probably
turned down.
computer audio.
That's where I have it turned down. So,
Or if you click the arrow down in the bottom left next to the microphone icon, you could go to audio settings. You might be able to turn it down there to the speaker volume.
yeah, it's okay.
Still waiting on Rex and Jeff.
I'll call Rex, make sure he's not having any issues.
Okay.
Mike needs to make sure to turn on his microphone.
It says find a participant, and I've got it highlighted and nobody's in it. Just admitted Rex.
We're going to have a whole crew here, aren't we?
I think I'm on now.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see you just yet, but I can hear you.
That's good for you if you can't see me. There I am.
There you go. Still waiting on Jeff.
Okay. Hey, Aaron. If you notice, I do have a background. It's the Purdue blanket.
It's so lifelike too.
Yeah. In a minute, you'll see my cat jump through here probably.
Well, I called Jeff and he hung up on me.
I can understand that.
Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last.
Does he get on through his iPhone?
Well, that's what I thought. Maybe that one, that X1045 or whatever was him.
That's what he did last meeting.
Yeah.
It was on his phone.
Yeah. Try him one more time.
While we're waiting, it's good to see you all.
See you too, Mike.
And you.
You too, Mike.
You as well.
Everyone doing okay?
Good.
Well, as can be.
We really need to be checking on Sean and how he's holding up. Because with 3 kids, Corey can probably attest to this. I'm exhausted.
Oh, come on. Suck it up, man.
That's right, man. Aaron, suck it up. No. Yeah, they get a little stir crazy from now and again, but when the weather's nice, it's always good to have them outside.
For sure. This might be him because he didn't answer again. So
I tried to accept that XT1 again, and it didn't come in.
well, hopefully we don't get an Indiana election board issue.
Sean, we can't see you. I think we could hear you, but we can't see you. There you are.
Comes in right there and it just
There you go.
pops out.
Tell you what, I gotta believe Amber Guffey looks better than that.
Mike,
I'm sorry, Mike.
Hey,
That's
Rex,
President Patton Paul that said that.
keep sitting in your recliner, buddy.
Hey,
Just said it was good to see you, Rex.
gotta have a background.
Oh, Lord. Isn't it nice we still have a sense of humor?
Jeff, we can like barely hear, like I don't think anybody else heard it because they're all over the age of 33, but I think that I could hear it just a little bit.
Just very.
Can't see it, but I can.
I heard a little bit too, Aaron.
See my picture?
No.
Don't see your picture yet. Brenda, can you hear Jeff? That's the main thing.
Yeah, barely.
Barely? Okay. What's everybody? Everybody ready to get started?
Yeah.
Okay, let's bow our heads and we'll get started in prayer this evening. Thank you, Lord, for this opportunity that we can serve our community. I pray that you be with each and every one of us and each of our families. Be with our community, our country as we go through this battle, and help us to make good decisions for our community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Newcastle City Council meeting Monday, April 20th, 2020 comes to order. Roll call, please.
Mike Guffey. Mike. Okay. Jeff Hancock. Jerry Walden.
Here.
Aaron Dickin.
Here.
Mark Coker.
Here.
Lynn Purdue.
Here.
Rex Peckinpah.
Here.
Okay. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes from the former meeting?
I'll move we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Mike Guffey,
Aye.
Jeff Hancock,
Aye.
Jerry Walton,
Aye.
Aaron Dickon,
Aye.
Mark Koger,
Aye.
Lynn Purdue,
Aye.
Rex Peckinpah.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Mr. President, I turn this meeting over to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, first, in line here is resolution 04202020-1. That is a resolution requesting the governor of Indiana to provide immediate relief to local government in order to best serve constituents as a result of the COVID-19 public health emergency. Whereas on March 6, 2020, the governor of Indiana declared a public health emergency as a result of the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. And whereas pursuant to Indiana Code 10-14-3-12, the governor has broad authority in the event of a declaration of emergency, including without limitation the authority to suspend provisions of any regulatory statute prescribing the procedures for conduct of state business if strict compliance with such provisions would prevent, hinder, or delay necessary action in coping with the emergency. And whereas executive orders issued by the governor have resulted in the closure of numerous businesses in Henry County and the state of Indiana that will lend to yet unknown negative economic impact on the city of Newcastle and Henry County. And whereas the state of Indiana currently has budget reserves in excess of $2 billion, now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the city of Newcastle, Indiana, that the governor is requested to take the following action. 1, immediately convene a meeting of the State Budget Committee and authorize a $500 million stimulus package be directed to Indiana cities, towns, and counties to assist with emergency needs and provision of day-to-day necessary services during the continuation of the following following the public health emergency. 2, provide funding to the Indiana Department of Workforce Development to allow for additional staffing for the prompt awarding and payment of unemployment compensation. I move we pass this resolution.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please. Oh, I'm sorry.
In this new stimulus package that's going to be voted on maybe tomorrow, Wednesday, the president has asked for additional money to go to states. So hopefully doing this, Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, this will get us out in front of this whole thing if the federal government does come up with this money being available to the states, and hopefully that roll over to the states, to each of the cities. So I'm glad we're doing this.
Let's hope it does. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mike Guffey,
Aye.
Jeff Hancock,
Aye.
Jerry Walton,
Aye.
Aaron Dickon,
Aye.
Mark Koger,
Aye.
Lynn Purdue, Lynn, Rex Peckinpah.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Next, we have resolution number 04202020-2, a resolution temporarily suspending the application of deferred payment charges for the delinquent payment of utility bills during the COVID-19 public health emergency. Whereas on March 6, 2020, the governor of Indiana declared a public health emergency as a result of the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus, and whereas the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus has resulted in the closure or curtailment of numerous businesses, and whereas such closures have created and will continue to create financial hardships for many citizens of Newcastle, and whereas Indiana Code 10-14-3-22 provides that a political subdivision may enter orders, rules, and regulations during the existence of a public health emergency that are necessary for emergency management purposes, and whereas the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana believes that it is necessary to suspend the application of late payment charges on monthly utility bills during the existence of the public health emergency in order to assist citizens that have been negatively impacted by the public health emergency. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana as follows. From and after the date of passage of this resolution, the city shall not impose a deferred payment charge on any bill or utility service that is not timely paid, including in particular the charges detailed in 50-112, Section A, Section 7, and 51.25, Section L of the City Code. All other provisions of the City Code related to charges for and provision of utility services shall continue in effect. Upon execution by the mayor, this resolution shall be deemed an order entered pursuant to Indiana Code 10-14-3-22. The suspension of deferred payment charges on untimely paid utility bills shall continue in effect during the existence of the declared public health emergency or until earlier terminated by the Common Council. I move we pass this resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and have a second. Was that Aaron that seconded that?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Any
want
other questions or comments?
Yeah, I want to thank Mr. Harvey for working on this and putting it together. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. No problem at all.
You did in a very timely fashion, Mr. Harvey.
Well, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mike Duffy,
Aye.
Jeff Hancock, Aaron Dickon. Oh, I'm sorry, Jerry Walden,
Aye.
Aaron Dickon,
Aye.
Mark Koger,
Aye.
Lynn Purdue,
Aye.
Rex Peckinpah.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, next we have ordinance number 3832, an ordinance amending ordinance 3813. Whereas on October 31st, 2019, the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana adopted ordinance 3813, an ordinance establishing the wages of the administrative and management employees of the City of Newcastle, Henry County, Indiana, beginning January 1st, 2020 and continuing thereafter. Whereas the ordinance established salaries for part-time, seasonal, and temporary employees of the city in certain departments. Whereas the city has made efforts to hire seasonal employees for the summer of 2020 and has been unable to attract qualified applicants. Whereas the city believes that if the hourly wage is increased for seasonal employees, that such increase may allow the city to retain qualified applicants to fill seasonal and part-time positions. Now therefore be ordained by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana, ordinance 3813 is hereby amended as follows. Cemetery Department, seasonal mowers, $10 hourly. All other provisions of ordinance 3813, which are not expressly modified by this ordinance, shall remain in effect. I move we pass 3832.
Got a motion, second it. Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor, what was the salary prior to this?
$850.
That's what I thought.
It was $825 and went up to $850, and it really didn't help any. So
Okay. Okay, thank
we're
you.
hiring less people, but hoping at $10 an hour, we can get a little bit more reliable people that will stay with us longer than a week or two.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mike Duffy,
Aye.
Jeff Hancock, Jerry Walden,
Aye.
Aaron Dickon,
Aye.
Mark Koger,
Aye.
Lynn Purdue,
Aye.
Rex Peckinpah.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. I also wanted to talk about two other ordinances we've had on the table. Mr. Walden brought this up. Wanted to talk about whether we wanted to pass on third reading the ordinance amending the schedule of fees for collection of solid waste, and also the ordinance establishing the non-reverting trash container repair and replacement fund. Want to get the council's voice on that, and if anybody wants to make a motion, so we'll give everybody a chance to do that.
The reason why I brought this up for everyone, in case you haven't read the email from me, ran into Lee Walker today, and he said that the city is totally out of toters. And, you know, I fully understand this puts us between a rock and a hard place. Not, you know, when we're deferring overdue payments on utilities, but we're looking at adding, what is it, $250 a month to the billing itself. We're just in a tough spot with this. I don't know, and Mr. Mayor, maybe you can help us out with this. I don't know what the layover on how long it would take. Would it take a month to get this into the billing? Would it take 2 months to get the totes on order? That's some of the questions that I had for myself. So, you know, any discussion on this would be really appreciated.
At this point in time, we could order them right away, but we're kind of in the mercy of them for them to tell us when they would be delivered, even if they have them in stock. That's one of the things that kind of concerns me about the economy right now. You also suppliers, and they're out of a lot of merchandise, and so I mean I think everybody's general consensus is we don't want to shut anybody's utilities off. We don't want to penalize anybody with late fees, and we still need toters, so we don't want to raise any fees right now. It's like you said, we're in a rock and a hard place. So
I think Mr. Koger had a pretty good idea. I don't know about the amount that he suggested, but I would suggest we do take enough for maybe 200 toters out of riverboat funds, earmark that money, and then pay that back once we put this ordinance in place.
I think that's a good idea. And
would that be sufficient, Mark?
Yeah, just something I know Lee had brought up. He wanted to do a section of the city at a time, but it's what Jerry said, that I honestly think we need just to have toters on hand for him to distribute when people call.
And the other part of that is you had to buy so many to get them at that particular price.
Right.
And that was another one of my concerns. Mark, that's a great idea.
Brenda, 250 or 225? How many is that?
250 is the break.
And how much would 250 cost us, Brenda?
40, I think it's 42 something a toter.
I know. Okay, so you got a calculator there.
Yeah.
I know your brain probably does that.
Times 42. Let's just say 4250.
Okay.
$10,625 for 250 toters.
Well, I'm going to make a motion, and somebody can, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to make a motion that we earmark $12,000 out of riverboat money that can immediately be used for toters to order them, and if they come in, pay for them. And then as we begin to collect a trash fee, once we enact this ordinance sometime in the next 2 or 3 months, that money will then be repaid to the riverboat fund. So that's my motion.
I'll second that.
Is that all legal, Joel?
Yeah, I think you can do that.
I think that's a great idea, Mark. Thanks for coming up with that. And Rex, thanks for.
Well, you kind of got the ball rolling, Jerry, so I appreciate it.
Okay.
Well, it just puts the mayor in a bad situation, and it put Lee in a bad situation. It's, when we first brought this up, it put us all in a bad situation because it's something that's been not dealt with since toters were put into place. So I really appreciate the 3 your efforts on this. So thank you.
Okay.
I've got a question before we proceed.
Yep.
My question is, with these 250 extra toters, will those just be used if someone calls in, or is Lee going to apply those to the certain area that he's going to start in the city? Because personally, I've received a lot of calls, and I'm sure you guys have too. Everybody's complaining about the toter, the lid not being on it, filling up with water, the animals getting in it. So just curious.
It's up to you guys, but I think it's to shotgun and to get the people taken care of that has a need right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Your Honor.
Okay, that's I think would be best. That's just my opinion.
I think so too. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
that's
gonna
what we
throw
want.
this out there, just because I'm feeling like maybe this would be a good thing for the council, but do we need, and I chose that word specifically, do we need to have that $12,000 paid back to the riverboat, or can that be a council nest egg to get this going?
I think that's something we can decide as we get into it. I mean, if
once they have,
we don't know what's going to happen in the next month or two. I mean, at all. So
right,
you know,
we can make that decision later. Is what you're saying, right, Rick?
Yeah. I think we can come along and later on just say we're not going to take a repayment. It's just going to be part of what we want to do.
Yeah.
But if we're able to start the fee in a couple months, then maybe we don't do that. You know.
I do have a question. Since 250 of these units were asked for by Lee to start his zoning project, when he puts those out, he's taking up the old ones. Couldn't the old ones be used to replace the ones that are in really bad shape? So we can go ahead and start the program?
Yeah, we have never had a reconditioning program, and we're starting a recondition program to where we're going to start taking wheels off of them and axles, and some parts are broken. We might be able to make a few out of parts, and we've never made that effort before.
Well, and the new totes that they're buying, correct me if I'm wrong, the new totes that they're buying, if they break down, can be sent back to the company and replaced for free.
It was part of their warranty. That's what they said.
10 years. Yep, 10 years.
Yeah.
So, good.
Other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Can I clarify just before we do this?
Sure.
$12,000 immediately. Do you want it to say right now repaid, or do we want it to say later down the road we'll look at repayment?
No, right now we want to say repaid, and later on down the line we may forgive it.
Okay. All right. I'm ready. Mike Guffey.
And that should read up to $12,000, not
up to
necessarily 12, but up to.
Yeah, I got up to. Okay. Mike Guffey.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock. Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickin.
Aye.
Mark Koger.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Peckinpah.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, now another thing that's really kind of under new business, and basically I think all of us have heard about the loan fund that the EDC has, and I think we might want to participate in that. And I'd like for Corey Murphy, I think Corey's on here somewhere. I'd like for Corey maybe to address that loan fund, tell us a little bit about it. I mean, we know that our small businesses are going to be hurting in the next, few months as things do reopen, and we as a city maybe can get on board and help out this problem by giving a little bit to the fund. So, anyway, Corey.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear?
Yes.
You can hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. I'm speaking to you from 1400 Plaza in downtown Newcastle.
Looks good.
So our revolving loan fund has been around since 2012. It was initially funded with a grant from the USDA, and local match came from the EDC operational budget. And then a few years later, we received another grant from the USDA, and we matched it with the EDC from the EDC operational budget. If all funds were paid in back or completely revolved back into the fund, we'd have about $150,000. It's important to note that this revolving loan fund is carried on the EDC's financials, but we do not use the revolving loan fund for any operational expenses. So as a result of the COVID-19, we repurposed the loan program to be responsive as much as possible to the needs of small businesses. And the application process went live on March 25th. And then in less than 16 calendar days, we received applications from 6 businesses, and 4 of those went through the process and were completely funded within less than 16 calendar days. I focus on that because the federal response has been huge amounts of money, but very difficult to access, and they're already out of money. Now, I don't know whether Congress will appropriate additional money or not, but we have about $25,000 left to loan out. And I think as we begin to think about reopening, businesses might have some expenses necessary to kind of operate in the new normal with the additional social distancing, additional disinfectant, cleaning, so on and so forth. And I think having a local, at least a potential local solution might be helpful. And so I have engaged Mr. Peckinpah in a dialogue about seeking an investment from the city into the revolving loan fund. We've also applied for another grant to the USDA. I don't know the decision time frame on that. I'm also in a discussion with the county, and the town of Spiceland is strongly considering making a contribution as well. And I have a request into the town of Middletown. So I'm not just focused on the city of Newcastle. I'm asking many of our local government partners here in Henry County.
Well, and being a little selfish, if our council does decide to do that, could we request that it is a business within the city limits? And I mean, I'm not trying to shut the county out, but if I would like to see it, I want you guys to give some input to it. I would like to see it be a business inside the city limits and not necessarily in the county, but I'll leave that up to you guys. Any other comments?
Well, I'm not against it being a business in the city limits, but I also feel that we have a lot of people that live in the city that may work in a business just outside the city limits. So I don't know. I mean, I'd like to hear how the council feels on that. But I do hope that if we do something tonight, that the other government entities follow suit and join in the program and, try to help. Chances are, though, that the greatest majority, I mean, if we're talking about the numbers of small businesses, the majority of them probably are in Newcastle, or at least in the greater Newcastle area. So chances are we would get a good chunk of that money if people need it. I know we've been trying and done a pretty good job of getting small businesses going. I mean, we can go up and down Broad Street and see several of them. And I would hate to see that progress thwarted due to lack of funds.
Corey, who makes the decisions on which businesses get these loans?
Thank you, Mr. Walden. That's a very good question. So we being the Economic Development Corporation, we have a revolving loan fund committee. It is a 7-person committee. We have 6 people on the committee now. We have a vacancy. Our office serves as the administrative and marketing aspect. So I don't have a vote, but members of the committee include Sean Defoe from the Chamber, Steve Finnegar from Finnegar, Claxton and Estill, Michelle Back from First Merchants Bank, Bill Aitchison, retired president from Citizen State Bank, John Madison, an attorney from Defer Varan, and Mont Switzer. He owns Switzer Transport up in the northern part of the county. So it is comprised purposefully of a wide variety of small business owners, professionals that have a perspective on running a business, operating a business. And then our requirement is that even in non-pandemic times, our requirement is for the applicant to work with a small business advisor through the Regional Small Business Development Center. And so that is Scott Underwood is our typical business advisor, and also Peggy Sonova is also available out of that office. So it really is a team effort in terms of providing technical assistance to the applicant, and then also the review process.
Is there an interest fee on these loans, Corey?
Yeah, so the way we've set up the COVID-19 program is, so right now the maximum loan amount is $7,500. I'm sorry, $7,000. The maximum is $7,000. You can go interest only payments for the first 6 months. And the interest rate is either between 3.5 up to 4.5. And that allows the committee to set the rate within those parameters, kind of based on risk. If they, if they think it's a really good risk, they're going to offer the lowest interest rate possible at 3.5, and higher risk is going to be 4.5. And then we would like for these loans to be paid off completely in 24 months. That's the way we've set up the COVID-19 program.
Corey, if we, let's say at night, we made $28,000 available to the small business revolving loan fund, you would not need all that money this week or next week. We would keep it in our fund earmarked for you, and then if you, as you needed that, you could draw from that. Is that okay?
That would be more than okay. We would definitely not need it tomorrow or even next week. We would only draw down as needed. I would probably draw down a little bit in advance, just so we have it on hand and can fund those loans very efficiently.
And hopefully you have more than our pot to draw from when it's all said and done. I think other people are going to take part. I really do. I'm going to make a motion that we make $28,000 out of the Riverboat Fund available to the EDC revolving loan fund when they need it this year. So we'll earmark that money.
Got a motion? Is there a second?
I'll second that.
And a second. Corey, how many, from the time that somebody applies, how long usually does the loan process take, the interview process? What's that time period?
Well, so the pre-application, which is online, is very, very simple. That takes less than like 5 minutes. And then I receive that, and then I forward that information to Scott Underwood, the Small Business Development Center advisor. And then he makes contact with the applicant and requests some additional information. And that additional information is really their financials, profit and loss, balance sheet, and then kind of what they want to use the money for. If they turn that around quickly, we're going to meet, as we're going to call the committee member we're going to call a committee meeting as fast as possible. Of course, these committee members are volunteers for us. So within a week or two, we're going to have a decision.
Okay. Good. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a couple. Corey, what is your average loan? Just
Good question.
I don't know that I can give you the average right now. I could certainly tabulate that and send it to you later. But I could give you, so on a non-COVID-19, these are stats prior to the pandemic. So from 2012 through 2019, we did 19 loans to 13 different businesses. Loan size ranged from $5,000 all the way up to $60,000. Over that 7-year period, we loaned out a little over $450,000. On the COVID-19 program, depending on how the USDA grant goes, depending on how additional investment into this program, I may recommend to the loan committee that we increase the maximum loan, because right now it's at $7,000. I may increase that up to $10,000 or $15,000 to maybe make it more meaningful to a business.
okay, thank you. I would imagine that most of the loans that are going to request to come in are going to be toward the maximum amount. I'm kind of leaning with the mayor on this. I'd like to see that the money that we appropriate out of our city account, I'm assuming that's coming from Riverboat. I'd like to see the applicants that are inside our city limit be able to borrow from that fund, that money that we appropriated. Do you see that being a problem?
No, I don't see that being a problem.
Well, Mr. Purdue, if you want to make a motion to amend my motion, you'd be welcome to.
Okay, I think I would like to make a motion to amend that the monies appropriated by the City of Newcastle Council be used for the applications that have the address that are inside the Newcastle city limit.
Do I have a second?
That's the business address, correct, Lynn?
That's correct.
Yeah, I'll second that.
So then we need to vote on the amendment and then vote on the motion as amended,
Yes.
I believe.
Any other questions or comments? Joel, would you like to give us your advice on what we just discussed?
No, I mean, I think what you've discussed is all perfectly fine from a legal perspective. And certainly making the request then that at least the amount that you are pledging to use for local businesses is also perfectly fine.
Okay. And Rex, I agree with you. We hope that other entities pitch in and follow suit. So, I mean, that's the overall goal. So,
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you at all on what you were saying, Your Honor. I mean, I want our people to have the money. You know?
yeah. But we do hope that some county entities follow suit also. So hope it turns out to be a good thing for you, Corey, that the program grows, because I think it's very valuable. Appreciate you doing it. I know it's hard work. Okay, we had a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
We need to vote, I think, on the amendment first,
Right.
and then vote on the motion.
Yes.
Okay, this is on the amendment. Mike Duffy,
Aye.
Jeff Hancock. Was that yes? Okay.
Yeah, he said
Gary
yes.
Walden,
Aye.
Aaron Dickin,
Aye.
Mark Hoger,
Aye.
Lynn Purdue,
Aye.
Rex Peckinpah.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Now we're going to vote on the motion by Rex.
As amended.
As amended.
Okay. Mike Guffey,
Aye.
Jeff Hancock, Jerry Walden,
Aye.
Aaron Dickon,
Aye.
Mark Koger,
Aye.
Lynn Purdue,
Aye.
Rex Peckinpah.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
And
Thank
then,
you.
You're welcome, Corey.
Thank you.
And then,
Thank
one
you.
thing I
Corey.
just want to bring up, that I want to bring up next meeting, because I'm not trying to blindside anybody, but I would like to see us earmark 50,000 again this year out of the Riverboat Fund toward the match on the Fitzgerald Trail. We're just about down to the wire on that. I believe Brenda maybe can add to this, but I believe in December or November, they'll take bids on that work and do the work next year. So we're coming down to the wire on that, and we still need match money. And that's going to be a great project for the north side. And so I'm hoping the next meeting we can vote on that and everybody can consider that. And Brenda, maybe before next meeting, you could email everybody the amount of money we have in the Riverboat Fund now, so they'll kind of be aware.
Okay.
Tonight we've earmarked 40,000, but I know we've got well more than that, but it'd be
Okay.
nice for everybody to have that info. I know Mike probably does not have that info at all, so.
Right, right.
It's over 300,000.
Yeah, easily over 300,000, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the end of the business. We'll go for committee reports. Mike, Mr. Guffey, I'm sorry, do you have a report?
You can call me Mike Rex. It's no biggie.
I know.
No, I want to give a shout out. I know maybe they're not joining us in the meeting, to Jeff Markham and Lee. They were tremendous help to helping me out this week. And I appreciate it, and appreciate what everybody's doing as far as the city officials and the EMTs and firemen and police and all, and we'll get through it. That's all I have.
Couple things, Your Honor. One is, and this comes up every year, about the sheriff and all that. I know West Lawn, you're not allowed to have them. And some of
Can you speak up a little bit?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, barely, but yeah, not very well.
Okay. All right. Shepherd Tooks on West
There it
Lawn.
goes.
Yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah.
I'm not allowed to have them already. You know that. Some of them-
Okay. Hey, Jerry or Jeff, I'm sorry. I've got to come by tomorrow and have you sign some papers. I'll talk to you. You can give me that list tomorrow. Okay.
All right, will do.
Okay. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, Greg, Baird,
Yes.
I will not be at work tomorrow and stuff. Can I just swing by your office?
Yeah. That'd be good. Be good.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Walden.
Just a couple of things. Mr. Mayor, I really want to thank you for getting started on the Osborne Park courts. A lot of residents over in that part of town are really excited about seeing the goals finally taken down, and Mike's updated me on what's to take place there, and we're really excited about that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any decision at this time about the Memorial Day parade?
No, Sean's going to talk a little bit about that here at the end, but it's not canceled. It's just kind of put on standby for right now.
Okay. Be a good celebration breakout whenever that time happens, I guess.
Right.
Last thing that I have, I posed out to the other council members. I had one of the citizens that I represent brought up the fact of asking about looking into allowing chickens within the city limits. I'm still doing some research on that. At some time, I'd like to bring that up for discussion. Myself, as how I raised spending money when I was in junior high through high school. I usually had around 30 chickens, including roosters. And it's a nasty job, believe me. But it was good money and it's self-sufficient. So I'd like to bring that up at some point. It's not an emergency thing, but I will be sending out information as I gather it to you, Mr. Mayor, and to the other council members so that you can look over the information.
Well, you can call Kenny Dell's office. Janet has all kinds of information on that, of what our existing ordinance is on farm animals. We kind of went through that aftermath, the pig, of the
I remember the pig.
emotional support pig.
I'd like to have a goat in my backyard.
I would too.
Guys, we're just talking about chickens, guys.
Well, but she's got all that. We've already got an ordinance on that, so that might be a good place for you to start, is with Janet.
Hey, so it's okay for us to come into the city building? That was my last question.
Sure.
Okay.
Just call ahead of time.
Oh, I
And
will. Yeah.
And somebody
Yeah,
will
I
come
will.
to the door and unlock it for you. Yeah.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Mr. Dickin.
I don't think I have anything. I've been texting Mr. Walker because I had some road questions, and he said that he appreciates the $12,000, so I wanted to pass that along. Mr. Mayor, do we have an update on? I know that on Riley Road, the Duke subcontractor fixed the patch there at Kovacs Drive. Do we have an update on the intersection of Main and Riley where it's like crushed?
Yeah, they've been back twice, and with this rain, it's been settling. So they're going to fix that before that telephone pole falls at the corner that you're talking about. They're going to fix that, and in front of Baker Pool, just as soon as the weather breaks a little bit or cooperates a little bit. The asphalt companies are open now, but it's been getting down to in the low 40s or sometimes in the 30s of a night. So
Right.
it's top on their priority list, and we're not going to let them go. It's going to happen real soon, just when the weather cooperates a little bit.
Okay, sounds good. And then I appreciate, I mean, I think we are doing the right things for our citizens as far as what the EDC is doing, what we've done for the utilities. So let's just continue to be mindful of those that, may not be as well off as us. So that's all I have.
Mr. Coker.
Nothing city-wise. I got a question for Corey. Corey, what is the status on the government, the PPP loans that were coming through? And there's so much stuff going on. Have they disbanded that, or what's going on with that, with the PPP loans?
So I don't think they've disbanded it. I think that
Did it go to big business? Was that what it was?
Well, so national media is reporting that, a lot of that funding went to chain businesses. But then it was just, I don't know, it was like mouth to fire hose in terms of pushing that much money out through the administrative structure. So it was pretty rocky to start out with. And then
have you heard anything from the state level of possibly them, doing something to that effect?
I have not.
Okay. Again, that's something that our legislators need to really be cognizant of. And I know you and Sean and people like that in our community, Mayor, are doing several things like that too. Because our small businesses are going to need stuff. I mean, they're going to need to pay their employees. They're going to need to, pay their utility bills and their rent payments and everything else along the line. So, yeah, an email to our legislators would not hurt from all of us.
I do know two businesses that did receive money from that this week.
Oh, good.
Here in Newcastle. Newcastle.
That's awesome.
On the
Mark, I could tell you from a personal stance that working with a local bank here in town, made the process for Walden Eye Care much easier. We
Sure.
did receive it. And that's
Good.
because Dr. Walden was on top of it early and often.
Right.
And he dealt
Good.
locally instead of with the big bank. So that
Okay.
was the trick for him.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
the two that I know of. They went locally too, through a local bank.
Okay. Well, that's all I had, Corey. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, Mr. Purdue.
This question would probably be directed toward the mayor. As the weather starts to warm up, and discussions come up about the pool, I saw a clip on TV where the question was brought up: can the virus be spread through pool water, public pool water? And the answer to that is no, because of all the chemicals and filtration that's in the pool. That's not a concern. Have we thought, are we going to open up the pool, or are we waiting on state guidance on that?
Well, they learned more about the cleanliness of what it takes to kill this spread on handles, doorknobs, ink pens, and chlorine and water will kill this. So yeah, I've heard the exact same thing, that it's not the pool water. At this point in time, we're kind of basing it on groups of 10.
Right.
We can't open the doors for 10 people, at a time. We have that many lifeguards. So at this point in time, there hasn't been much discussion, because we know that we're at least a month out, and it's very possible that I think if there's any way we can open the pool for 3 or 4 weeks at the end of the summer, whenever the numbers are released, I think mentally it would be a positive thing for our community. So we're going to do all we can possibly do to open it, if at all possible, for whatever reasonable amount of time.
Okay, I appreciate that. So yeah, the kids and the community's been through a lot, so that'd be a nice relief for them. So that's all I've got.
Well, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but with the way that Brenda, Christy, and Kendra like to give away concessions and give away things free, it might be, we never make money on the pool. It might be I'm speaking way out of turn. It might be open for 2 to 3 weeks for free. I don't know, just whatever a shot in the arm for the community could be. There's a lot of discussion to be had on that yet, but we definitely want to use it as a positive celebration, or something for the kids to do later this year when the weather breaks. So that's where we're at.
Okay, well, I don't.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I don't have a lot, but I do want to say that, times have certainly been fluid. They've certainly been times of uncertainty, but I've been proud that the city of Newcastle has carried on its services and its government. I've been proud of our mayor for the job he's done. He's functioned to the best of his ability with the knowledge given him, and I think that's all you can ask. And even though he's a different party than me, I appreciate the governor of Indiana. I am hoping that he'll get the legislature to let loose of some of that $2 billion in the rainy day fund. But I do appreciate that he's been a good leader, and he's given pretty accurate information. And so I just want to give kudos to our leadership. And that's all I have. But now I think maybe one of the only people that hasn't spoken is Sean. Sean, you have anything to say or anything to tell us?
Thank you all for the invite. I really appreciate allowing the Chamber of Commerce to be with you guys this evening. And thank you, Council, for passing those resolutions. I think that's important for our city where we're at tonight. If you don't mind, I'd like to give you an update what the Chamber has been doing through this whole entire crisis. One of the things that we've done is we have expanded our website and our web presence. We have worked alongside Newcastle Main Street, EDC, the Community Foundation, and others for this Love Local. That is found on our website as well. We're doing a virtual shopping kind of a thing. And each week is a different grouping of businesses. This week, we're focusing on the health and wellness, essentially our doctors, our dentists, our psychiatric help, and gyms, and etc. Last week was hardware, home, and office goods. Also, we've been putting together what we call the 2020 Community Immunity, which has been a series of 3 different webinars. The 2 of them have already transpired. The next one is this Thursday at 10 a.m. It is with Scott Underwood. It's entitled "What's Next Post COVID-19 Financials." Anyone can register. It's free of charge. We just ask that everyone goes to our event page, go and register there, and we'll send you a link to our webinar via email. And we've had some decent response. We are recording each one of these as well, and we're placing them on what we call our video library, which is on our website as well. It's underneath the heading of news. And so we have every single webinar there, as well as some webinars from Cindy Kiner on human resource stuff, as well as one that we had with our Congressman, Greg Pence. We had a conversation with Congressman Greg Pence. That one is up there as well. So we've been doing a lot of different things like that. We're also teaming up with the EDC on what we call Show Your Love. It's on our Facebook page. We ask the whole entire community, what is your favorite? And today is the gym. Name a gym that you'd like to go to. And those who enter at the end of Friday, randomly will be selected 2 winners. Each of them will get a $25 gift certificate to their business that they mentioned. This past week, we have a $25 gift certificate to Office Source and a $25 gift certificate to the Habitat for Humanity. EDC has graciously come alongside of us and is doing one winner, and we are doing the other. So we greatly appreciate that help. In regards to the event called the Memorial Day Parade, I talked with the mayor. We had a great conversation. I appreciate his time. And we both agreed that it'd be wise right now that we just wait to see how this will all transpire. Plan to have a call in during the first week of May. My events committee is working on putting something together for it in case we're able to do it. Obviously, if the city is unable to be open, then obviously there's just no way that we can do the streets without the help of the street department or the police department. So we greatly appreciate that as well. And then outside of that, I know that we're also working alongside the health department and EDC as well on the Not So Fast new group. Lost my words here, but it's an initiative that we want to thank you, Corey. We want to share, and I think that I'll let Corey handle the rest on that. If you have questions in regards to that, I'll let him speak towards that. So, any questions for me?
Sean, I was going to suggest, and I do hope we can have the Memorial Day Parade on Memorial Day, but if something happens and we can't, maybe we need to shift it to a July 4th parade.
Well, we would be open to those suggestions. The problem that we have is that we're really squishing all of our events then into a very small amount of time. We still have our annual meeting that's going to be happening sometime in mid-July or early August. We also have scheduled events in late June. And so the chamber board will have to make a decision on whether they can have what events we'll have to give up if we have to postpone the Memorial Day Parade.
Well, just a suggestion.
No, I know, and we've been thinking about that, Rex, and I wanted to share with you that we are thinking those things through. We hope we don't have to make that hard of a decision.
I hope you don't either.
Yeah. So.
Okay, go ahead, Sean. Any more?
No, I was just asking if there's any other questions.
Okay. I've got one more question for for Mr. Harvey. Legal question. The two ordinances, one on increasing the trash fee and the other one on the non-reverting fee for toters. We've had those now on, basically on the table for, I believe, 2 meetings. Do we have to start over from the beginning again, or will we be able to go on to 3rd reading? And
You'll be able to go on to the 3rd reading.
okay, I wasn't sure if there was a time limit on getting things done or not. So, okay.
No, with those particular ordinances, you would not have a time limit.
Okay, thank you. And that's all, Your Honor.
Okay.
Well, I did want to point out one thing that I forgot about, and listening to Sean and Corey jogged my memory. Newcastle Main Street's having a virtual 4th Friday this Friday on their Facebook page. So make sure you track that down and share it. And I think it said from like 2 to 8, they're going to do, stores doing tours or live videos or stuff like that. So.
Okay, thanks. Corey, did you have anything else? You talked about the couple of things that we asked you to talk about. Did you have any other reports or anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, Sean mentioned it. We've partnered with several organizations, including the health department, and it's a not so fast campaign. And it's really directed at business owners and managers to encourage them to think about their policies, procedures, and operations as we prepare to reopen the economy. And we're inviting those business owners to send questions to info@growinhenry.com, info@growinhenry.com. And then our team will aggregate those, summarize those, and then send them to the health department so we can put together frequently asked questions. We're planning a webinar. I think businesses, we want to reopen as soon as possible. That decision is made at, way above my pay grade. But it's going to be a new normal until we have widely available treatment, widely available testing, and hopefully a vaccination sooner rather than later. I think we're going to have to continue to mitigate this through prevention. And so we want to help our businesses get as much good information as possible. And so that's what the Not So Fast campaign is about.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I can also talk about unemployment statistics if you want to, but I don't want to necessarily end on a bad note.
I think we all are pretty aware of what those are.
All right, fair enough.
How about we end on this? Kendra, thanks so much for setting this up. Mr. Mayor, thank you again.
How do you know I didn't set it up? How do you know I
thought you learned that back in business class.
Listen, I was getting ready to pay respect to you too, and thank you for getting these meetings going. And Greg, I really appreciate you being out in front on thinking about having a space for any of our public service people in case they did come down with the flu. That was really forward thinking. And I meant to say something about that when I had my time. So I do appreciate that. And Mike, you're really getting your feet wet, your first year in all this, but to each and every one of you, this is what a city council should be like. This is how it should act. And I appreciate everyone's effort and words and advice during this. So thank each and every one of you.
Okay, thank you. Brenda, did you have anything this evening?
No. No, well, I'm going through audit. So
Yeah.
I've got.
That's an audit that they do every year, Brenda. Let's clarify that you're not.
Oh, they don't do it every year.
Well, but they do it they do it on a regular basis. Yeah, it's a normal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else, Brenda?
No.
Kendra, anything from you?
No.
Well, thanks for setting all this up. I appreciate you setting all this up. Joel, anything from you this evening?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. For all the councilmen, you're probably gonna have some conversation. We truly are making 2 trips to the dump now, opposed to just 1 trip to the dump. So toters are being used more. Some people are complaining about their water bill being a little high. Well, that's because they're home more. They're cooking meals a day. So water bills are, if everybody's staying at home, the water bills are up a little bit. They may not feel like they are or may not think that they are, but truly the consumption is up a little bit. So you may get some calls about that. When you stay at home, you use those things more. So I just wanted to make you aware and be on the lookout for that. One of the things that I wanted to bring to your attention is we passed a couple of things at that emergency meeting. Well, I haven't came around to get those 2 items signed, and the bus department needs it signed. So in the next, I'm gonna try to get in touch with everybody tomorrow and meet up with you sometime somewhere to get that signed. That's why I was talking about Jeff. I'll catch up with you sometime tomorrow, but I'll call everybody else individually, try to get it signed. I've already got in touch with Rex, called him twice at home, my house, and I catch him at the gas station, filling up his lawnmower gas tank. So, I'll find you somewhere, but I need to get those 2 items signed so we can get those out. Want to talk just a little bit and real quick about the property tax. Want to explain it a little bit. The governor has passed an ordinance that property tax businesses can put that off for another 60 days without having to pay penalties or any late fees. And there are a lot of businesses that are really struggling right now that it's going to be a big option for them to literally not pay their property tax for 60 days. So what I was hoping that we might be able to get possibility half our property tax. One of the statistics that I cringed, the escrow accounts is people paying a house payment and have their property tax escrowed. In talking to the courthouse, that is only 20% of the escrow money coming in for our property tax is only like 20%. And I guess wishful thinking, I was hoping it was going to be a lot more than that. So that's why we had the emergency meeting last week. But for those who can pay their property tax on time, that truly is important for our municipalities. And we are making arrangements to go to Plan B so that we don't get put behind the 8 ball. And we are going to use our own money to borrow from one account to pay the other, so we don't have to go to the bank and pay an interest rate on it. So if people ask you about property taxes, there are some businesses that it's going to be just absolute necessary for them to take that extra time. And I don't want to try to make them feel bad. Don't want to try to, make an ugly issue out of it, because it's going to be needed. I mean, there are businesses that it's probably going to be difficult for them to make it that payment in an extra 60 days. So we're going to make the best of that, and we'll work through that also. Lastly, I want to thank all you guys that I appreciate your kind comments, but this is nothing that just one person can do and do it successfully. You guys have made sure that the city business goes on by having emergency meetings, by attending these meetings. And I wish that I could say that I was more encouraged about this COVID-19 numbers. I've been tracking it very closely. I've been paying attention to the metrics that has been sent out to Indiana. And unfortunately, it is almost right on target to the date of what they say when it was going to peak in Indianapolis. My fear was that it was going to just skyrocket in Indianapolis in between the 18th, the 16th, 17th, and the 18th. Well, the truth of the matter is, since March 6th, they've been averaging, Indianapolis has been averaging about 145 to 150 cases, new cases a day. Well, on the 16th, it went up to 189 cases. On the 17th, it went down to 106 cases. And on the 18th, it went up to 265 cases. So, it's not jumped by 500, but it's still going up. It's still, I don't think it's hit that peak yet. So I've said all that to say this is they're telling us that it's going to hit Greenfield after it peaks in Indianapolis, and Greenfield already, they already have 151 cases, and we're at still at 31 cases. We've done a really good job, and I've said all that to say this: we need to continue to do what we've been doing. I wish I could say, boy, it's time for us to get out and to start opening things up gradually, but I just don't feel like it is. I feel like it's time that we continue to do what we've done. We're very, very fortunate. We still only have one death, and I don't want to brag too soon, but our number really is pretty flat. It's not spiked by a large number. We were in the teens for a long time. Then we went up to 20 and then to 22, and we're only at 31 right now. So I know the sun's coming out and everybody's going to get excited and think that we should start breaking loose. But everybody gets tired of hearing me say that it's like the Midas commercial. You either pay me now or pay me later. Well, I feel like we still need to do what we've been doing. And I appreciate you guys continuing on with the encouragement that you've had and that you've done. But we need to continue to tell our constituents that we just need to hang in there just a little bit while longer and do what we've been doing. It's not time to party yet. A week after it hits Indianapolis, it's supposed to hit Greenfield. A week after it hits Greenfield, it's supposed to hit Newcastle. And in all reality, Richmond is still behind us, lower than us in numbers. And it's, the epicenter of Indianapolis, the circle just starts getting bigger. So, and it grows out. They've been exactly on target. I know the president's wanting to talk about starting to open things, and every state's different. I know the governor, they're putting a fence around his house so picketers can't walk up his porch and up his driveway. But it's not time to celebrate yet. It's time that we just continue to do what we've been doing, and we'll get through this sooner or later. It feels like it's taken a long time. I know it is, but we've just got to encourage everybody to do what we've been doing. So I appreciate everything that you guys have done, and appreciate all your help, all your support, and just continue to encourage your constituents, and we'll have a party one of these days, and it's going to be a big one. Anything else that anybody else has to say?
Your Honor, I move we adjourn.
Motion for adjournment. Thank you very much. Everybody be safe.
I'll fix my name next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Well, right now it just says Zoom. It says start meeting. So is that where you go to?
Stop video. Okay, now, yeah, red. Remember that left click. Ending meeting for all.